want Saudi region changing, right? If you have Saudi Arabia.
Hey, good evening, everybody. This is Joe with Premium Travel Group. Hope you guys are doing wonderful tonight. Tonight we're gonna, go over, what cruise lines don't tell you before you book. Those are some of the interesting things. You can get some of these incredibly low prices, 59, 89, $99, per night to sail, which are absolutely incredible, but they don't always tell you everything. Most of the time they obviously do not include any drink packages, no Wi-Fi, no gratuities. If you're looking for a quick, simple getaway, that is what you can do. Maybe it's specialty dining you guys want, but they don't always tell you everything that you're going to do. We're going to talk about a little bit more on why working with a travel advisor. We're going to kind of continue to, play on what we went over last week. This is going to be helping you to increase that value of what you're paying for when you get on that cruise ship. So once again, it's really just about me giving you some helpful tips as we move forward. Definitely don't forget, drop down into the comments and ask a question. I am trying to keep track of all that here. For those of you who don't know me, once again, I am Joe. I'm the owner of Premium Travel Group. I'm just here, been cruising for 30 years, been in the travel industry for quite a while now. We specialize in ocean and river cruises. We take care of all the things so you can vacation without the stress and confusion that can come when you're booking online alone. Last week, like I said, we went over, that travel agents are still incredibly valuable. And today it's kind of, we're going to build on that with cruise pricing. It's much more complicated than in years past. There's so many more add-ons that you got. I can't tell you how many times I hear people, they are nickel and diming us. They're nickel and diming us. So it really, does happen. You never know what the extra is going to be. That's where a travel advisor comes in to be extremely helpful for you. So we'll start with going over, the cheap cruise misconceptions. One of the biggest mistakes many travelers make is assuming the advertised cruise fare is the final vacation price. That's because the base fare usually doesn't include everything. It doesn't include alcohol, specialty coffees. It doesn't include the Wi-Fi. It does not include specialty dining. It does not include gratuities, excursions, soda, photos, spa access sometimes. There are some free things that are with the spa, mostly the gym more than anything, but spa access is a big one that some people do want. They want to go and, get pampered. And on a cruise, you can do that. What's a better way to get more relaxed than getting a massage while looking at the ocean passing you by? Definitely is relaxing. So that cheap cruise can suddenly become a much more expensive one, once you start adding these things in that a lot of travelers do like to do on board. I'm not always a spot guy personally, but I do like some drinks. I do always get the Wi-Fi because, even while I'm on the cruise, I am a travel advisor. So guess what? I'm still able to connect with my clients. I am still available. I will answer questions, make bookings, whatever the case may be, even though I am on a vacation. Okay. So I put that in quotes. It's still very relaxing. Trust me. But yes, I am available to my clients. Excuse me. So we're going to go over some of these, the piecemeal versus bundle experiences. And that's where cruise lines start to really separate themselves. Some cruise lines, make it more of a piecemeal approach, where you can customize your vacation, adding only what you want. Others will focus heavily on the bundled value where many of these extras are included up front. So it is important for you to kind of take a look at what you want. Okay. Don't just go with what, your friend did or what, they think is going to be the best. You got to take a look at what you want, what you're going to do like that, so to really kind of, begin with, we're going to, take a look at the Royal Caribbean and Carnival. Sorry, that is the wrong image there. I don't know why that came up. I am trying here. Let's see here. There we go. Now we no longer have a little minor, uh, I think maybe that was user, to be honest with you. But Royal Caribbean and Carnival, they always lend themselves to being the customizable approach. That can actually be great, because some don't drink, so why pay for the alcohol package? Some people want to just literally get away from everything. They don't want the Wi-Fi. It is awesome to be able to put that phone, just tuck it away in the safe and don't look at it for however long you're going, a week, 2 weeks, whatever the case may be, just disconnect completely. Others may never eat at specialty dining. Honestly, I'm one of those. I'm not a big specialty dining type of person. Neither is my wife. Do we do it? Yes, absolutely. We do love to go and we do love to, eat in specialty dining, especially when it's a special occasion. It is one of those cases that, you can really just make that even that more special. So, guests can, specialize that. But, if you're someone who wants all of that, the drinks, the Wi-Fi, all of the specialty dining, and you just keep adding on to it to get all those premium experiences, well, that final cruise cost can suddenly go up a lot faster than you expected. So that can kind of become, okay, well, maybe that wasn't the best. So when you do a price comparison, this is where, certainly travel agents come in handy, because we'll look at all the cruise lines with what you want. It might be better to look at another cruise line to get a better deal to hit all of the same ports of call, but you're getting a better deal on everything. Now we're going to kind of take a look at, the other cruise lines that are out there. Norwegian Cruise Line, I sell them a lot. They're free at sea. Okay. They are more aggressive when it comes to that. Pretty much when you see pricing with Norwegian, the free at sea is included with it. And they're very happy with that. The free at sea is actually, a little bit close to $2,000 in value. It gives you unlimited beverages, and there is not a limit on the number of beverages you can drink. It is truly unlimited, unlike cruise lines like Carnival and things like that, where they will actually limit you to 15 drinks in a 24-hour period. The specialty dining, when you book with the free at sea, you're actually going to get 2 specialty dinings part of that package. Wi-Fi. Now, the free at sea itself is not a great Wi-Fi package. It's 150 minutes. So you got to make sure you turn it on and turn it off so that you're not using up your minutes. They do give shore excursion credits. It is a $50 credit, per room, that you can keep on and just use that every time you stop. Sometimes there's reduced airfare in there, not all the time, but sometimes it is there. For many people, this makes budgeting a lot easier. You're including a lot of it. And then we jump into, there is an additional cost if you go with something called the Free at Sea Plus. Okay, now the Free at Sea Plus is an optional upgrade. It is $50 per person per day. Everybody in the room does have to get it. Okay, but it gives you a lot more expanding on the Free at Sea Plus. Number one, it gives you premium beverages. So drinks over $15 in value each time. It gives you additional specialty dining options. That is a big thing for people. Some people don't even want to go to the main dining room. Specialty dining is all they want. It gives you unlimited Wi-Fi, so you're not having to worry about those minutes. You can keep the phone turned on. It gives you, as we said before, it gives you the premium beverages. So it's giving you the high-end alcohol. So you have a lot more to choose from with that, including, wine and champagnes. It does give you bottled water every day. It does give you, if for those of you who don't know, Starbucks is on Norwegian Cruise Lines. So the Starbucks is included in the Free at Sea Plus. And even bigger with that, it isn't the prepaid gratuities included with the Free at Sea Plus. When you add all that together, if you do all that separately, guess what? You're paying more than the $50 per day. So if that is things that you're looking for, the Free at Sea Plus is absolutely worth it for you. And that really takes it to the point where you're not having to worry about anything except for the little goodies that you're going to buy your kids or grandkids, in my case, to bring home. Or if they're on with you, they're already getting it right away. So you get that with being, freely a la carte, you know, um, but you get a lot for that value. So it's important to take a look at that, what you really want, what you're looking for. Um, Going into another cruise line, MSC Cruises. Okay, now they have really become one of the best values at sea right now. Pricing competitively, they are right in line with Carnival, but with a much more elegant atmosphere. They are a European style, so you've got crystal staircases, you've got just upscale foods. But when you book, you're able to book unlimited Wi-Fi, unlimited drinks. Again, not limited to just 15 at a time. Most of the time, that's what a lot of my clients go for because it's very easy. Now, those are the only two things you get with that. You can throw in the prepaid gratuities. That is certainly an option there. You can buy a specialty dining package. So while not the same as the Free at Sea and Free at Sea Plus, it does give you the chance to customize a little bit more. Just the drinks and Wi-Fi alone are a huge value when booking that cruise and how much you save. You're saving easily 50% over buying them separately. So again, a travel advisor is going to help you out a lot with that. I'm not saying you have to use me. I prefer you use me, but I'm not saying you have to use me. But definitely, speaking to them, they're going to give you the insight. Now, just to throw out there with MSC, I travel these cruise lines all the time. I'm leaving on MSC in a week and a half to do the MSC Seashore. So be able to give you some more firsthand experience with everything like that. But with MSC, they are newer ships. Certainly, they're new to the U.S. market. They've been doing the Mediterranean for a while. They've got an incredible private island in Ocean Key out there. It is a marine preserve, so you're not getting waterside. You're not getting any of that. You do have a good value, especially for families. And then, of course, they also do have their ship within a ship. They call it the Yacht Club. Now, moving on to definitely a little bit bigger of a, cruise line that people do see, a little bit more premium. We're looking at Princess Cruises now. Now, Princess is a Carnival Corporation cruise line. Okay, but they are the step up. Okay, they are the Lincoln of the Carnival lineup. Them in Holland America, actually. But with Princess, you can book the Princess Plus. Many people do love to get that. That again is another package that you get beverages up to $15 a piece. But like I said, with it being a Carnival Corporation, you are limited to 15 drinks per day, so every 24 hours. You do get one device, unlimited Wi-Fi. Gratuities are included with this whole package. You do get casual dining meals. So Princess does, take things out to casual dining and specialty dining. So, you have to check which restaurants are which, but they do give you those there. They do give you premium desserts. So you want a gelato, you want something that is usually normally extra, you get one per day included. They do have fitness classes. Those are all included. You do have access to the juice bar, so that, gives you a lot on board. You, of course, have their medallion class on the ship, and what's so cool about Medallion, you can order from their app anywhere on the ship, and they're going to be able to bring everything to you. You don't have to walk to the bar. They're going to come get you. So, now Princess does have one more thing that they got going on for them now. Beyond Princess Plus, they have got Princess Premier. Okay, and this takes it up one more level for you and takes it from buying everything. So Princess Premier is literally what I like to call the all-inclusive. Okay, this takes you to that premium beverage package like we were talking about with NCL's Free at Sea. It will let you hook up to 4 devices per person in each room. Gives you unlimited specialty dining, unlimited casual dining, so your meals are covered. Gives you unlimited digital photo download. So those pictures that you are taking on the boat, download them to your phone or your computer or whatever the case may be. And they are going to be there, for you to be able to just, take home with you. No extra thought. One cool thing that Princess has, reserved theater seating. Now, for most cruise lines, that's reserved for the ship within the ship. Okay, whether it be the Haven on NCL, Yacht Club, the Sanctuary on Princess, whatever the case may be. But they do give you a reserved seating area, so you're not having to rush all the time. Of course, premium desserts and fitness classes like before. The gratuities are included. Just a lot more dining flexibility with Princess, and that's where Princess really kind of comes through. Like I said, that Princess Premier, which I've had before and I have again when I sail in March. I'm going to be on Princess in March. Just gives you everything. You really are not worried about anything whatsoever with the Princess Premier. Princess Plus definitely is great, but if you want that all-inclusive feel, that Premier is what you want to go with. So moving on, like we had mentioned there, Holland America is another one of Carnival's, ship lines. They've got a bunch of them, but they have what's called the Have It All package. Okay. So very similar to everything else with the Plus and the Premier that's got, this package has got, again, that beverage package. It's got the specialty dining. It's got the Wi-Fi into it. It's got shore excursion credits. It's, and Holland America is especially, popular with travels trying to go for that more relaxed cruising. Okay. They don't have the big water slides, just like Princess, they don't put the water slides on there, but they have excellent, family venues up there. They are known for their top end food quality. Princess and Holland America, and we're going to go a totally different, segment, later on in this whole thing with, not today, but later on, going into Alaska. Princess and Holland America do an incredible job with that. They are less crowded. Okay, so their ships are not quite as big. The Have It All package really complements the premium cruise experience very, very well. So they really do have it done. The final ship I'm going to go over is going to be Virgin Voyages. Okay, now Virgin Voyages is unique. Okay, they are changing the conversation with what's included with your cruise fare. They do so much just in their base fare. You're not having to add on to it. With the price you see, what you are getting is specialty dining. Well, that's easy to say because, believe it or not, Virgin does not have a main dining room. They do not have a buffet. They actually have 20 different specialty dining venues. And you can go to any one of them and eat. So that is a great thing. They include unlimited Wi-Fi right in, once again, with your cruise fare. Fitness classes are included. The group workout classes you will see them scheduled in the morning up on the top decks. Obviously, all the entertainment's included, just like all the other ones. Soda is included. Okay, you're not paying extra for it. Just basic beverages, some juices and things like that, coffee are all included. And like I said, absolutely no traditional buffet. Now, for families, this is not the cruise line for you. Why? It is adults only. Okay, so anybody under the age of 18, sorry, you're not able to get on board. All right, it is adults only. They have kind of perfected that. They only have 4 ships currently. It won't surprise me if they build some more, but Virgin Voyages is really, setting the standard in some of the adult only cruising. Now one of the most things, and this is what I've got up as big, is they don't have a beverage package. Okay, they have what's called the bar tab system. So if you order the bar tab system before you sail, okay, depending on how much you spend, they're going to give you free money to be able to use the bar tab. Now, what makes the bar tab so unique? Well, number one, everybody in the cabin doesn't have to buy it. Okay, you put the bar tab on just your, self only, and that's fine, because you can honestly go into a bar and you can literally buy a drink for everybody in the bar on your bar tab. Now, that's going to go through your money very quickly, and hopefully you have some friends that you're going to make by doing that will then put your next drink on their bar tab. Okay, but yes, so For example, you put down $200, you get $50 free. It's really the more money you put on there, the more Virgin gives you for free, so that you can just spend. That just strictly on the bar drinks. Okay, and it's the flexibility that makes it extremely unique. So again, like I said, you are not going to have to worry about anything on Virgin. Okay, especially with that bar tab. So that kind of highlights a lot of our, the cruise lines and what they do individually. Um, you know, this is where comparing cruise prices can become very difficult. As I said before, the cheapest cruise fare, the advertised cruise fare, is not really truly the cheapest cruise fare. Okay, when you start adding in all the extras that you want, especially the drink package, because guess what? Those drink packages can go 70, 80, all the way up to $100 per person per day, and everybody in the room has to get it. Okay, so you got to take a look at these, the Free at Sea, the Princess Plus, the Have It All, Virgin Voyages, Vartep. Okay, you got to look at that to see what is the best value for you. The stress it takes off of you from having to check your, onboard account every few hours and say, oh my goodness, how much did I spend? Did I spend too much? You're going to see fewer surprise charges. Well, the one thing I'm going to point out, if you're drinking while you're in port, especially in the United States ports before you're leaving, you're going to pay taxes. Okay, so your drinks are free, but you do still have to pay the taxes while in port. Okay, so don't be surprised by that. Just know it's going to happen. Don't go to customer service to complain about it. You're hearing it here. It is there. It's always been there. I was surprised the first time it happened to me, but I'll be honest with you, I'm still good with it. Give me a beer as I'm getting ready to leave. Give me that mixed drink. It's only, a few cents to $1. Okay. I'm going to do it. Okay. It allows for better budgeting. When you do these packages up front, when you book the cruise, you're able to pay it off over time, and you're literally able to budget much better for yourself when you're making that, trip and making it there. There's a lot more included amenities when you do that. And that's where travel advisors really help the travelers. We understand what you're actually paying for. It's not for us to help the cruise line make more money. It's for you to enjoy travel much, much better. I tell customers a lot, I'd love to put everybody, and I'm going to use Norwegian as an example, put everybody into a Haven room, and the reason is I get a much better commission on that, but that may not be what's for you. Okay, when you give me your budget, you tell me what you want, you tell me, what you're looking for. It's important to me to make sure that we get you what you really do. And this is just to play off of that again, keep in mind, as a travel advisor, my job is not to just book. My job doesn't begin until we're ready to book. It's helping travelers understand everything. What's included, where you're going, what's not included, which cruise line best fits their style. I've had many clients come to me that we only sail Royal Caribbean. I ask them, okay, that's awesome. I can definitely do that for you. What are you looking to get out of it? They tell me, and I tell them all of a sudden, Princess might actually be a better fit. It's a little bit cheaper, or Holland America, it's one of those that some people are you've got to look at it. You got to ask those questions. That's where a travel advisor comes in. We don't work for the cruise lines. We work for you. Okay. So any trusted travel advisor, any properly, as we went over last week, ask their certifications, ask everything, ask questions. Okay. Because it's important that you get everything that you pay for. Okay. You want to find out what promotions are worth it. Okay. Sometimes a promotion isn't worth the cost that you're paying because you're paying for it, but it's in your cruise fare versus being an extra. You want to know where the hidden costs are. The right cruise for one traveler is going to be completely different for somebody else. Okay. And that's where we come into play. So when I get a group coming together, I always ask them, what is everybody looking for? What are we celebrating? What are we going to do? Sometimes it's just your friends get away. Sometimes it's, I'm going on a honeymoon. Sometimes it's we want to, get married at sea. Sometimes it's a family reunion. So we got to look at that. And every cruise line is a little bit different how they treat everybody, So we want to make sure that we're constantly, doing everything we can to get you what you need. Now I do want to hear from everybody. I do see a couple comments. Hey, Mike, how you doing? It's good to see you. I want to hear from you though. I want to hear, do you prefer the more inclusive cruising, or lower cruise fares that you can add on down the road that you could just kind of do that, and what's the biggest expense you've ever encountered on a cruise? I hear the stories all the time. They really can be surprising, and you just don't want to do that. So I'm hoping that you found today's stream very helpful. Make sure you follow and share because we, do cruise and travel discussions every Thursday, 7 o'clock. We're going to keep that time going. So make sure you're ready for it. It's one of those things that, we want to be able to help you to understand. Now, next week, we're going to switch from ocean cruising going into river cruising. I want to be able to give everybody the opportunity to get an idea of why, river cruising is a big segment of just cruising in general. Make sure feel free to reach out to Premium Travel Group here. Again, I am Joe. I am the owner of Premium Travel Group. Scrolling on the bottom of all of this, has been my phone number. It has also been, our website. So you're welcome to reach out on either one of those. I do want to thank everybody for joining us today. I do remind you, 7 o'clock next week. And also remember, in 2 weeks, we are going to be on the MSC Seashore. I'll actually be coming to you from the hotel after we get off, of course. But yeah, we will be doing a little bit of a recap of what we did on the Seashore for you. So no worries there. You've got, we got plenty of time to get to that. That's in 2 weeks. We'll be sailing with my grandson. So, I really do appreciate everybody tuning in. I really do, thank everybody. So again, thank you for joining me. See you next week at 7 o'clock. All right. Thank you guys very much.